Hello, everyone. Hello, Milan. Nice to see you again.
Hello everyone, hello Darko. Nice to see you and thank you
It's
for inviting me.
it's so great to be back. We had a small break, let's say, from a couple of months or something like that, but we are back. And this time we are back with very special show. We call it Retail Talks. On regular basis, we will talk about retail and in particular about retail technology because we are passionate about the technology, and that's why we will talk about that. But today we will talk about retail trends. And in a couple of minutes, I will explain you why those trends are so interesting and not just interesting, but also very important for us as a company. But before we start, let me introduce us as a first. Milan, can you please give us some words about yourself?
Yes, just very briefly, I'm Milan Lazarevic. I work as general manager at Fiscal Solutions. I'm with the company for over a decade now. I participate in many different international projects related to the retail and fiscalization, and yes, that's about everything.
Thank you. It's so nice to share the stage with you today. You were very short, but actually the experience that you have is really, really huge. So I will be very happy to discuss some topics with you.
Yes,
A
thank
couple
you.
words about myself. Yes, couple of words about myself. I'm Darko. I'm one of the founders of the company, and since more than 25 or almost 30 years in the retail technology environment. And that's why I will be very, very happy today to share with you some of the views that we, both of us, have related to retail and retail technology. But before we start to talk about trends and topics that we see as trends, let me please tell you why those trends are so important for us. We are a company that is developing software for the retailers, of course, and the retailers are very keen to follow the trends because if they are following the trends, they could make more money, of course, and better profits. But as we are a software company, helping them to be or to run the business according to the legal requirements, we have to be ready before them. Because if they decide now, today, to implement certain trends, we have to have already finished solution for them, which is according to the local requirements. So this means for us, we have to start as a software development company much earlier with our developments so that we are ready on time as those retailers want to implement the trend. This means we have to work with ideas and prediction what will happen in the next year or following years. And now you see already what is the complexity of the business. It's very difficult, of course, to see and predict what will be trend in the near future. In order to do that, we developed some kind of methodology which we are actually using. And let me take this year as an example because we are using the real life experiences and data to predict the future. In this case, 2023, we had the projects from, let's say, around 14 or 15 different countries in the world. And if we are doing that, we are trying to understand the environment, let's say, of the retailers on the global level in all those countries, and then to match the countries or to compare the countries with each other in order to understand what are the common trends, common mentality of the consumers, common behavior of the consumers, and so on. This is just one dimension. The second dimension is actually market segment of our customers. Our software is used in many different market segments, starting with food, over fashion, do-it-yourself, hospitality, and so on. And each of those types of retailing has some own rules and, of course, some own trends. And sometimes they are very different from one market segment to another. We are trying to find, again, the common trends to match them and compare them with each other and to be able and to identify at the end the trends across those market segments. And that's what we will present you today. So we will present you our view, let's say, of the international and global retailing over different market segments. And we will discuss the points that we see as a trend in the upcoming year. By the way, those trends are helping us to define our roadmap. As I explained you, we have to be earlier, to start early than the retailers. And that's why it's very important for us to develop according to those ideas. So far, so good. Milan, any additional topics?
For some reason, I did not get the last sentence. I guess you are asking me if I have something else to add, but I think you cover everything,
Yes.
so it's all good.
Okay, so for us, those trends are much more than just the interesting topics. For us, this is something which is important for our roadmap. Let's start with the first trend, artificial intelligence. Of course, everybody is talking about that. Of course, everybody is putting that AI in the features of their solutions, in the business which they are running, because it's a buzzword and the buzzwords are helping to sell something. But as I explained to you, just the buzzword is not enough for us in order to create a roadmap. So we need some more details about those trends, let's say, around AI. So we investigated, let's say, AI much more in detail, and we tried to understand what are the real use cases for the retail, which will be trend in the near future. And you can imagine one of the results was e-commerce. We strongly believe that e-commerce will change heavily in the next year and following years. The online shops will fade out, and that the new way of online online buying and selling will emerge. And this kind of new concepts will be based on AI. And now let me give you an example. Why do we think like that? And what will be, let's say, the base of the new concept that we see coming very soon? On one side, we have the situation today. These are the online shops which are existing today, but there is not just one online shop. There are millions of online shops. And if you want to buy something, first you have to find in which online shop you want to do that. And sometimes the quantity of the information which is around the world is so big that the purchasing process is getting very stressful and sometimes even very confusing. What to buy where and what are the sources where you can find the information that you are looking for. It's very, very difficult. Microsoft developed something very interesting and it's already released. And this was, let's say, the starting points for our discussion and view on those things. They developed something what they call shopping tools. This is like a platform covering several features which are based on AI and which are helping a lot. And by the way, changing the perspective of the online business and online shops. What does it mean? Or let me give you first some of the features which they have in their solution. One group of the features is, for example, related to the buying guide. So this means I don't need to search around the internet anymore. The shopping tools and especially this buying guide feature is creating based on my preferences, based on my habits, and maybe even based on my data, like for example, health data from the watch. The AI is creating buying guide for me. It's a like suggestion with steps to follow in order to find a product that is fitting best for me. Great tool. I don't need to do anything. I'm getting everything served. Perfect. The second group of the tools is even more impressive, which I think and are very important, let's say today. It's a summarized reviews. Today, you are making the purchase decisions probably based on some reviews because you want to check if your decision will be good if you buy the product. But there is not just one source of the reviews, there are million sources of the reviews. And by the way, how to be sure that the review that you are just reading is the good one? Maybe there are another reviews which are not that good. So the AI in that shopping environment, shopping tools, is creating summarized reviews for you. And you just have to read one short summarized reviews based on AI, and you know if your purchase decision will be good or not. The third group of the functions are price matching. So this means the same AI is creating, let's say, the best offer for you, matching your requirements regarding pricing. It doesn't mean that it's the smallest price. Maybe it's important for you to have a different, I don't know, factors which are defining the pricing. That's why price matching. And you don't need to compare prices by yourself. The AI is doing it for you. And then at the end, if everything is fine for you, the AI can run the purchasing process for you. And now you see the shift of the strategy. In the e-commerce world as of today, you are the driving factor. You are clicking somewhere and asking for the information. You are pulling those information out of the internet or out of the systems. In the AI world, AI is pushing for you to you the information that you need in order to buy something. This is really convenience, and I'm sure the purchasing experience is great, benefits are obvious, and I'm totally expecting that online shops will be exchanged with this kind of shopping tools and shopping environment. Milan, what do you think about this area?
I think it's very interesting, and we should speak about it before this meeting, because we shouldn't just give away these new concepts free of charge in this event, because now somebody can use it and just be ahead of the competition. Just kidding. I mean, it makes sense, and it definitely could develop in that direction. What I see, AI definitely has impact on the supply chain, significant impact in the supply chain in terms of the stocks planning, distribution, deliveries, and everything. And I can also see it that it will push a concept on a cashierless stores, which are based on image recognition, because with AI, this image recognition concept is working better. And I think it will go in that direction. And the third element, which I see as a very important as a next trend, is related to the chatbot, because more and more companies are now powered by chatbot AI, and by that they are providing customer support, which is quite important for all the customers. I don't think it's sufficient, but definitely it helps people when they are making their decision, or where they have some questions afterwards or before the purchase. So it's definitely something that will evolve in the future.
Yes, I totally agree. And we will come back to those chatbots for sure, because this is a really interesting, let's say, feature related to the personalization as well, because it's directly for you as a customer, and you can, let's say, have benefits directly, totally fitting to your requirements and questions. I like this approach as well. Okay, so this is the first trend. By the way, guys, if you want to discuss some other trends, just comment it all over the platforms that we are streaming. And something else, at the end, we will discuss also topics that are not trends, or at least that we don't see as a trend. For example, Web3, although I love Web3, but we will give you a view about those topics at the end, why we think some of the topics are not trend, okay, or will not be the trend. Let's talk about the second huge issue. And this is one of my favorite areas, social commerce. And why social commerce? Because I'm surprised each time if I check the numbers related to the social network and social commerce. As I was preparing for this session, I checked, of course, again, some interesting numbers. And I realized that 60% of the planet, world population, are already using social network. This number is unbelievable. And if you check even the amount and the time, how much are people spending in average on social network, this is even more surprising, the number. It's 2.5 hours per day. So it's a really, really long time. And I definitely see the trend that the usage of the social networks will increase as well. But with increasing social networks, or at least with the increasing value of the time that we are spending on the social networks, something else is increasing as well. And this is actually the social commerce, let's say. And why is it increasing? Because social networks are nothing else than location for the retailer. And now remember the three most important factors for the retail, for the success of the retails: location, location, and location. And suddenly we have a new location, which is called social networks, with millions of people spending 2.5 hours per day. It's a great location to sell the stuff. So there is no other way than to have increased, let's say, social commerce as well. If I may give you some numbers, I was surprised again about the numbers. Just in US, the official researchers are expecting a growth rate in the area of social commerce from 23.5% per year. And the market size should reach 82 billions next year. So it's an unbelievable big number. And if we analyze which generation or who is actually the driver of the social commerce and social networks, it's actually Generation Z. And even the younger people like Generation Alpha, they changed their behavior totally as well. They are not watching, for example, TVs anymore. They are just informing themselves about brands and retailers over the social networks, based on social networks. So this means even in a couple of years, as Generation Alpha is getting older, we will have more and more usage of social networks. And let me show you some other interesting numbers which helped us to define the trend around this area. The Generation Z was asked on which social networks they are ready to buy mostly. And the answer, again, very surprising for me, they want to buy goods, products, services, and so on Instagram, and followed directly on the second place and shared by YouTube and TikTok. So this means these guys are ready to buy. It's just a question of the retailers if they are ready to sell those social networks. These facts created a trend for us, or at least we think that we recognize basically two trends. One trend, and the first one, is the short videos, or generally videos, but mostly short format of videos, will become shoppable because most of the Generation Z and Generation Alpha are looking videos, mostly short format videos. The next step is to make those videos shoppable. So we are expecting already now technologies with buttons within the video where you can directly buy and purchase some kind of products. This is for sure coming next year. The next question that we asked ourselves was, which social networks are the most interesting in the next year, for the next year? And although I love the videos and they are mostly common on YouTube and TikTok, Instagram will be the next social network for the next year. And what made us to conclude that are following facts. The researchers or the platforms like Hootsuite defined and found out that 86% of the companies worldwide are already on Instagram. This is unbelievable, huge number. And then the second number is even more pushing in direction trend. And this is how confident or how many companies are confident that they will return their investment on Instagram. If they invest on Instagram, that they will get a return of investment very, very good. And this number is 68%. So this means the retailers are already on Instagram. The retailers are ready to invest. The retailers believe that their investment will generate profits and returns. And the customers are there. So 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 means there is a trend of Instagram. So be ready for Instagram. Milan, by the way, are you on Instagram?
I am. Yes, I am. And I did some shopping and not very happy with the outcome. But in general, I tested and it works. But if I have to speak about the trends and considering the social commerce, we could definitely see that the key element of each social network platform is now related to the marketplace and sales of the items, not like it used to be in the past. So, for example, Instagram is not any longer just to share the pictures and videos, but it's also for making the purchases. And this part of the Instagram is becoming widely popular. What else I think is going to be important for this social commerce is, for example, personalized experience, because of today we have these sophisticated algorithms which will be able to see the customer behavior, purchase habits, history, and everything. So it will be able to create a specific content, design in a way that customer would absorb it the best way, and then sell it in that form. Beside that, I also think there will be interactive content is going to be must. So you will be able to see interactive 3D product displays, participate in a live shopping events, to try on experience through the augmented reality and so on. I don't think this is going to be partial as it is today or just occasional. I think it's going to be must, and more platforms which are doing the sales over the social networks will implement this for sure. If we talk about influencers, I believe they will create the content where they are promoting certain lifestyle. I mean, they are doing that already. I'm just saying that it's going to become even more popular in the next year. And by that, by promoting their lifestyle, they will achieve something that standard companies can never achieve in order to interacting with their customers. Payment is a very important part of the social commerce. It works, of course, with digital wallets and one-click pay and similar. And I think this in the future is going to be invisible, that you can just pay with a blink on the eye, so you're not pressured by this, because this is the most important step of the purchase, of course. And I think community-driven commerce is also going to be big things, because people are sharing experience between themselves. They are providing reviews, recommendation, and similar. And I think the companies already recognize this trend, and they will invest even more in the future. But social commerce is also creating different concepts that I actually have a video. I will try to share it. I'm not sure if you will be able to hear the sound, but even if not, I will just explain you what's happening over here. So give me just 1 second. All right, and just tell me if you see the full screen. Darko, do you see the full screen?
Just a second. No, I don't see it at all. So you should restart maybe the sharing of the screen or something like that, because
do you see it
I
like
cannot
this?
have.
All right, so I'm sharing it now. And do you see it now?
I will add it to the stage. Here is it.
Is it a full screen?
Yeah, more or less. Yes, it's okay. It's visible, good visible.
Okay, so over here you can see a lady which is actually doing a live stream, and she is promoting goodies in a nice Hermes bag, which is luxury, but all the items are very cheap, and she's trying to make the impulsive reaction, so you're buying it immediately, because if you do not make your decision immediately, you just somebody else already purchased it, and at the end, it's if you want to do a return is even more expensive than the piece of the clothes that you purchased. So people usually refuse to return it, but most of them are not satisfied with what they purchased. But this concept enable 14 million income each week for this lady. So I believe that similar new concept will evolve as well.
I like this idea, because this is showing quite extremely how the technologies and changes in the society are influencing retail. Because this kind of the product presentation, where you see the product just for a second, and then you purchase and make the purchase decision within the seconds, this was never before. So absolutely new things. And now, if you are the company like we are, where we have to think about the legal requirements, means VATs, means fiscalization, means customer protection laws, and all these kind of things, I get headache, to be honest. So it's really, really problematical from the technology point of view and implementation point of view. That's why we love to analyze those trends on time. But you said something very special, and this is leading me to the next trend. You said that the return fees are much higher than the value of the product. And this is actually something that we see as a third trend. And this is something which I think is very, very important. The return fees are becoming, how to call it, let's commodity or something like that. So the retailers are introducing slowly but surely the return fees. What is the problem? You should understand that returns are really, really costly for the retailers. They have to process the returns. They have to repackage them. They have to test them and analyze them, resell them if possible. If not, to throw them away. And all these, let's say, topics around the returns are creating unbelievable huge costs on one side. On the other side, the behavior of the customer changed. We are now, let's say, or we have all of us return behavior. Just one number so that you can imagine what I'm talking about. Just in US, 16.5% of the purchases are resulting in returns. So the amount of the returns is unbelievable high. So this means the retailer has to reduce these costs, return costs, by trying to create hurdles for the people to do the returns. And one of the best hurdles to create is actually to introduce the return fees. And now, imagine what's happening on the market. The retailers like H&M, Zara, TJ Maxx, and so on are introducing, of course, return fees, starting with $2.4 all the way to $10.99, with hope to stop the return behavior on the side of the consumers. If we check a little bit more the details, which retailing is the mostly affected by that, we will see that it's fashion, of course, and especially clothing. And if I analyze my own family, I see that if my children are ordering something, my daughters, they always order several sizes of the same piece. Then they try, of course, they find the best fitting piece, and all others are sent back to the retailers. For the retailers, headache poor, cost poor. So that's why there is a strategy, let's say, to stop them. But this is not the only thing which I see as the trend. And by the way, the 40% of the online retailers already introduced in some way, at least, the return fees. So this will continue. But these kind of trends have very positive effects in some cases. In this case, this retail trend is, let's say, pushing the new technologies. Usually it's the other way around. The technology is creating the new opportunities for the retailer, and retailer is able, let's say, with self-checkouts, with mobile devices and so on, to create new retail concepts. In this case, the need to reduce the costs is pushing actually the new technologies, like, for example, augmented reality. Just remember all those tools which are helping you to try the clothes, let's say, virtually. You don't need suddenly to order 5 different sizes. You can try it with your mobile phone and maybe with some glasses or whatever. So this kind of technologies are more or less pushed by the trends like return fees. For us, this is very important area because the big question is there, how to treat, let's say, the returns from the business point of view, from the taxation point of view, and so on. This is not easy trend, not easy topic. Milan, anything to add to this?
Not really, but just considering that the trade or the sales or the retail going towards e-commerce, that is going to become, that we believe, and that some research is saying so, that e-commerce is going to become more popular. I think these returns are going to happen in the future as well. With the same example that you gave about buying different sizes of clothes and then just keeping the one you like. So I think this is going to happen even more in the future. But I also don't think that customers will appreciate the way that they have to pay for the return. So I'm not sure. At the end, customer will pay for this return in the way that the goodie or the clothing or whatever is going to be more expensive, or it's going to be forced to, for example, order 5 items, but you have to keep one or whatever. I don't know what concepts will be. They will have to pay for them because costs are definitely rising. But I don't think this the way that that some retailers are introducing return fee, it just position themselves below the competition, because if you have the other ones that are not charging that, they are ahead, right? So we will see how this will evolve in the future.
This is interesting because I discussed this topic with my son today, and he told me immediately, exactly as you were just telling it now, I will not buy at that retailer anymore. If he introduces the fees, I will go to another one. Yes. This could happen, so definitely, but I don't know how the retailers will treat that, but I see the increase in trend. 40% already introduced them. So I don't know. I recognize the trend, at least in the moment. Let's talk about very interesting topic that everybody is talking since years, but we see it in the moment differently. So everybody is talking about personalization in retail. And usually, if you are talking about that, you are thinking about shoes, clothes, or whatever, with your names and with your preferences on it somehow from the design point of view or usage point of view or whatever. Or you are maybe talking about customer loyalty and customer apps that are tailored for you, analyzing your purchase habits and then generating something. We are not talking about that kind of personalization. This is also fine and could be the trend, but we see a little bit different personalization in the moment. We see it as a personalization of the experience, not of the product. And we mentioned, or Milan mentioned, the AI chatbots based on the AI. This is nothing else than personalized experience. There is no product behind, but the purchasing experience or channel experience is increasing. It's more positive, and people are buying more, of course, if you offer them. If you see, for example, in trend, which is happening today, for example, in US, some big retailers, and I will name them a little bit later, are even putting away self-checkouts, which are self-served systems actually, and replacing them with humans, let's say, people with cashiers, in order to have, again, the personal touch between customer and retailer. And this is what we really think. It's high level of personalization. We think that, or I think at least, that the shopping will move more into the direction of convenience stores, smaller stores in the neighborhood, which are highly personalized because the people knows you and you know them, and it's like going home, let's say, to buy something. And later, if we discuss about additional trends, I will add on top why this trend is really emerging in the moment. So this means we see actually two trends in the area of personalization. First one, there will be more and more convenience stores because people want that personal experience, personalized experience. And the second, the concept of the convenience stores will change a lot. And this change of the convenience stores, this will be one of the trends that we will present you later. But definitely selling the goods in the processes around the convenience stores are totally different than, for example, in the hypermarket. So that's why big trend for us, at least what I see in the moment, is personalization in the concepts of the stores. Milan, what about you?
Sure.
Stores or apps and products?
Yeah, when I think about the convenience stores, everything you said, it's right, and they're definitely generator of the economy of a country. And sure, there will be no possible way to behave or feel the same way if you go to the hypermarket or if you go to a convenience store, especially if you know the personnel over there, so you can talk about different things which are not necessarily related to the shopping itself, but it's to your personal experience, and then you feel comfortable over there. Of course, that you will go back there and you will get a nice feeling of a shopping. But I'm not sure if I could compare that with or consider that as personalization, even if it is. But I'm thinking about large retailers which are actually handling the large volume of data from the customers and then analyze it through these big computers and then getting the results, how they should approach someone. Then I don't think that someone who is small that compare with someone who is on such a high level. So it's going to be a different form of personalization. So I think that both of them will have to address their customers in a certain way. So I'm not sure in a future if the convenience stores can compare or compete with the large ones. Yes.
This is indeed a problem. But if I remember, for example, New York and Manhattan, you see the convenience stores with these kind of formats that we will discuss in a couple of seconds all around. So there are millions of them. And you remember, as we were there for NRF last year, we were using them as well because it's convenient and it's good. Yeah. And if you add personalization, I don't know, the big stores will have not that easy, let's say, next year, for sure.
To be honest with you, let's talk about when we've been in these convenience stores, I did not have these level of hospitality that I would maybe expect if I would like to go back to that convenience store. But I understand the concept, and I agree with you.
Because we are not living there, for sure. Because it's different, of course, if it's your neighborhood or if you are just coming and like jumping from the plane. So okay. Let's talk about next trend, self-service. I like this trend a lot because there is let's say, there are different opinions about that. If I'm going to Asia, I see self-service all around, especially if you are talking about the systems like self-checkout or even other systems. So it's a really, really big in Asia region. If we are coming back to Europe or even going to the US, we see that self-service is not that developed. There are even companies, there are even retailers in US that are removing self-serving systems from their checkout lane. Like, for example, Trader Joe, Target, Walmart. They are limiting, let's say, the usage or even removing the self-checkouts on one side. Nevertheless, I see that this kind of self-service will increase because it's a typical way of thinking of Generation Z and Generation Alpha. They want to do it, to start online with self-service and to finish it maybe in the store, but they want to do everything by themselves. They want to control it, and they are even in many cases avoiding the service somehow. So I think the Asia region will be something that is dictating the self-service strategies, and this phenomenon of self-service will, of course, be introduced and will increase in Europe, in US as well. In Europe, especially in Germany, I see already this trend. There are many retailers that are introducing more and more self-checkouts. In US, I'm not sure, but I think they will come as well. What do you think about self-service, Bud?
Yeah, I think they are going to. I think they are on the rise, and they are actually more and more retailers are introducing these self services in a different concept. I think the cashierless stores are also becoming the important part, not for every city, not for every location, but they will have their installation and their customers for sure. And I think self-checkouts are definitely important and definitely going to define the retailer strategy for the future, especially with this new AI technology, which is used for recognition of the products. So, for example, what is the main problem of the self-checkouts today? It's complex. You have to go there. You have to scan a barcode for each product. Then it's slow because you're slower than a cashier. Then there are security challenges. Then technique, of course, always. But with these new trends, which I recently seen, Aldi is introducing a new self-checkout concept, which is actually powered or integrated by Gebit. And they are using Diebold Nixdorf self-checkout system, which is powered by Dynamics image recognition system, which claim to recognize image 4 times faster than it used to be in the past. So now imagine yourself, you're done with the shopping, you go to the self-checkout, you have your basket, you throw it away on a track, you scan in a matter of seconds, and then you just go and pay. So it's going to be even faster than a cashier's itself. And then if you want to add to this concept just cashier to be there because of the personalization or a personal touch whatsoever, then it can be there, of course, because they are already there to monitor what's going on. But I think somehow in the future, in most of the stores, they could be replaced by the self-checkouts or the complete self-checkout store, like a cashierless stores, for the concept that can allow that.
This is a very good example with Aldi. I remember my time at Diebold Nixdorf many years ago. We discussed, as we talked about self-services, we discussed always the topic like this, that discounters will never introduce self-checkout because the cashiers at discounters are unbelievable fast. They are, they have their own numbers. Let's say they're using own IDs, product IDs. They have to memorize them. They don't have so many products, so they are really, really unbelievable fast. And we thought that the discounter will never introduce the self-checkout systems. It was the state of the retailing at that time point, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, even more. Nowadays, Aldi is introducing very innovative systems. So I like this switch and this change, let's say, of way of thinking of the retailers. I can imagine, if the technology is allowing it, that Amazon Go concepts are becoming state of the art. You just go inside, take the product, and go away. That's it. I can
Interesting
imagine.
thing about Amazon Go is that they are actually shutting down the stores. So the number they've been planning, it's a different what they've been planning. But then I can see some other producers of the same technology or the same concepts are actually having this concept going through with the certain retailers in the certain countries. So altogether, it's growing. This is what I see.
True, absolutely. Same on my side. So we agree there. Let's talk about the next trend. I love this as well. Actually, I love all of those trends because they're really interesting. But this one is again related to AI. On the beginning of this session, I told you everybody is putting the buzzwords AI all around the industries. And if you have it inside, you have a better product. Somehow not true, but they think so. And we are looking for the real use cases, real business cases. One of the use cases that we identify, and we think that it will be a huge, let's say, trend in the upcoming years, is new consumer engagement. Actually, what retailers are just realizing in the moment is that the engaged customer buys more. So they are stopping, or let's say they are switching and changing the marketing strategies from to inform the customer into direction to engage with customers. And engagement is creating much more turnover, much more sales. The numbers are much higher, of course. And the AI is perfect tool to help the retailers to create the content which is actually enabling engagement of the customers. But now let's talk about the problem which is related to that. There are researches and the results of those researches which checked actually if the consumers are ready to engage with with content created by AI. 60% of those asked consumer answered that they don't want to engage with AI created content if they know that it's created by AI. And this is the point, if they know. The AI is getting so good that you almost cannot differentiate if something is created by AI or not. So this means the people will even don't know if they, let's say, use AI or not, or consume the content from AI or not. They will just consume it. They will not care about that at all. And if you see, for example, how much are the people, let's say, accepting the AI, what is happening in the new generations, I can say, I can make conclusion, then generation alpha will not care at all if the content is created by AI or not. And now, if the marketing strategies of the retailers are changed on the right way, the engagement will be created because AI is much more effective in order to create engagement. And engagement will create new retail concepts. Why? Because the retailer will try to sell on the point of engagement. So this means the point of sale will change or will evolve to point of engagement. And if you understand the store like point of engagement, suddenly the complete store is becoming cash register, checkout. And that's why the self-service concepts are fitting perfectly into AI environments where the customer is engaging with the retailer within the store. That's why I love that. In the first stage, this is not maybe related to us because in the first stage, marketing and related departments on the retail side will change, agencies, advertising, and so on. But very soon after that, the new retailing concepts will follow, and those concepts will be based on the engagement. What do you think about that trend, Milan?
Yeah, I can just comment that AI is definitely shaping the future, not only about the retail, but about about different segments of the life. So I'm sure the different concepts will evolve from this, and then we can just see what we can expect in the future. But yes, definitely, it's already hard to differentiate the content created by AI or a human, and I believe in the future it's going to be even harder. At one point, for one generation, it's going to be. It really doesn't matter who created the content. If they like it, they will just live with it. So I think this is the way.
So I think you are absolutely right, and I think the industries which are producing maybe ASLs, electronic self labels, or some kind of labeling in the store, these guys will have to adapt to these new changes as a first, because the marketing will change, and they are affected immediately by that. And then the followed, let's say, departments like we will need to change as well. So interesting future to come. Trend number 7, customer loyalty. Every year, if we are talking about trends, everybody is talking about customer loyalty as well, because customer loyalty is a powerful tool to attract the new customers, sorry, or to use more, let's say, or to generate more sales with existing customers. But existing customer loyalty systems and programs have two major problems. And we expect that solution of those two problems will be trend for the next year. So the first problem is actually that those customer loyalty programs are always in the closed ecosystem of one retailer or maybe group of retailers. If you are collecting the points from the petrol station, you can use that points only on that petrol station or the group of other petrol station chain as well, if they cooperated with somebody else. This is the one point. So you cannot leave the ecosystem of the retailer. And the second big problem is the value of those customer loyalty systems for the consumer. So if you collect points and retailer tells you 1 point is equal $1 or 10% discount or whatever, you have no any kind of influence on that. And you are totally, or the points and the system is totally depending on the value created by the retailer. Okay? But nobody wants to be depending on something. So the next step in the evolution of the customer loyalty are independent systems that are leaving the ecosystem of the retailer and enabling consumer, like we are, to generate the value even on some other ways. Starbucks is a great example. You can connect the points or collect the points and stamps, how they call them, in the store of the Starbucks. Then you can sell, generate value on the market. So this means the value of the stamp is depending on the market as well, on the customers which wants to have those stamps. So this means you are leaving actually the ecosystem of the Starbucks and you are generating the value on the free market. This is something what is really interesting. Starbucks showed us that this kind of concept can be very, very successful. They are very, very successful. And I'm sure that other retailers will follow with very similar customer loyalty systems. Milan, do you like Starbucks?
Do I like Starbucks? Yeah, I do it.
Yeah.
But I do like it, but we don't have it here in Serbia. And then usually when I go abroad, then I'm enjoying it. But yeah, I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not the big coffee drinker, so I can even have a day without coffee. So it doesn't matter so much to me. As for some people, as I know, which are occasionally traveling with me.
Life without coffee is not a real life. This is something, I don't know what. There is something missing always. I like coffee a lot, and I like Starbucks. I think the concept is great. The recipes are great, and
yeah, I think Starbucks is quite innovative. It's quite innovative. Concept is quite interesting, and I think in general, if you speak about the loyalty, they will have to focus themselves on several different points. One of them that you mentioned, it's related to differentiation. So, for example, the companies that enable customers to collect points at one location, but being able to spending on a different and not necessarily the same retailer or the same company, but different ones are going to offer to their market, to their customers. The same thing if you collect, for example, points, but instead of spending them in a store, maybe you can get access to the live event or the party or travel or something like that. I mean, you have to be different from the others in a positive way in order to attract more customers. Then I also believe that the paid subscriptions are also going to be trend for the next year, where you actually participate in a certain loyalty program by buying the subscription for the whole year, and under that subscription you have discounts on certain products or possibility maybe to attend in certain promotional events and similar things, everything that can create additional value for you. Then I believe that multi-action is going to also be very interesting way of collecting the points. So, for example, you get 10 points for every $10 that you spend, or maybe 5 points for writing the product review, 5 points for giving feedback or recommending a friends, and then getting through the different actions, not only having the sales, but doing the different things, you're collecting the points, which at the end you can spend in a certain way. Then I also believe that different loyalty levels are also going to be quite important, because the customer who is spending 10 units is not the same as the customer who is spending 1,000 units. So if the customer is spending 1,000 units for something, then I guess it should be rewarded differently or treated differently with a certain way of the, let's say, VIP treatment. And then what I think is going to be most important is that customer journey, where the retailers are going to handle the customers through the complete concept. For example, from the awareness point of view, where they are going to get certain points just to sign up for a newsletter, through the consideration perspective, where they are maybe going to get additional information about product or something, or short video which is going to explain what they need in order to push the sales. Then during the purchase, maybe they are going to get additional point by having the purchase in the next 5 minutes. They are going to get a certain discount. And then, of course, post-purchase services where you are getting, for example, coupons or code for the next purchase and similar. So I think this is going to people that are the more companies are going to work towards this direction in order to achieve more sales in the next year.
You're absolutely right. And one point I like to go more into the detail. You mentioned the VIP customers. This is going very let's say very near to the communities which are really discussed and really well managed in the Web3 area. And I think we can learn a lot from that, because the next stage of the customer loyalty, beside those independency and leaving the ecosystem and different programs that you just described, could be creation of the like ambassadors, let's say, for the brands, which are creating the communities. Because if you have the really loyal community, you have actually loyal customers, even more loyal than standard loyal customers. So I could imagine that development of communities could be also a very important point. But let's step to the number 8. Number 8, and this is something related to me, as I want to lose my weight. I want to eat more healthy. And this is definitely a trend which is influencing retailers. People want to eat more healthy, and they want to care more, let's say, about own health. And because of that, they want to have a food which is more healthy. One point. Another point is the life is getting very fast. People don't have enough time to prepare the food, to cook, and so on. This is now creating the opportunities for the retailers. Suddenly, the retailers, especially supermarkets or even hypermarkets, are becoming real food factories. They are growing their own plants, and you as a consumer can buy those plants directly over there, and you can use them for your own meals or for whatever. This is the next point, because you don't have enough time to cook. The supermarkets are preparing that fresh food or some other fresh food for you. So they are cooking already in the supermarkets as well. Because you don't have enough time, you buy the prepared food, let's say in the supermarket, sandwiches, curries or whatever, and you eat that food in the store as well. So the layout of the stores is changing. Suddenly, the stores have areas where you can sit and eat. And this area is nothing else than area for socialization. So you are able to socialize in the supermarket, in the market, in the store. So suddenly, the stores, especially food in the food area, are becoming places where you can meet and eat. And this means socialized. And now remember the story of the personalized convenience stores. And remember or imagine the situation that you are buying prepared food in those convenience store, and you are eating over there as well, meeting other neighbors and socializing with them. This is personalization. This is personalized experience that nobody else can give you, because we humans need other humans to socialize in order to feel better, in order to have the personalized experience. So that's why the change of the supermarkets into the area of meet and eat is changing the retailing concept. Suddenly, it's the question: is that now the supermarket, or it's maybe hospitality, or both, or whatever? And this is changing also the retailing processes here. And this is now influencing, of course, our applications as well, because we have to be prepared from our side for that as well. How do you see that area, Milan?
In terms of the health, the same way as you do, I think the people have taken care more than ever. Like some years ago, I don't want to say 25 years ago or something like that, but people did not have a clue about the nutritive value of any item. And today you can see through many apps, people are calculating the calories, counting the water intake and similar. So yes, definitely health is going to take a significant part. And already is, but every day more and more. Of course, people taking more care about it. So definitely, food is a part of it. But I think this what you just mentioned about the supermarkets becoming the places where people will go and eat. I can agree with that, but not so much in the terms of the healthy or the best food, because in order to get the best food, then it means that you would have to hire the best cook in order to cook that food for you. So I see it a little bit different, because, for example, you already have that with home delivery business growing. Of course, people are used to ordering a food from the restaurants, and of course, there is prepared by the best ingredients, healthy. Of course, depends how much you want to pay, from where you want to order it. But definitely, you can get the in a matter of minutes from the restaurant directly to your home, and it's still warm, of course, and people are going to have it there. So I think it's the different concepts are going to evolve. So one will be, for example, the small producers of the different type of food. For example, I don't know, if you're talking about Serbia and food which is popular over here, then we are talking maybe about paprika spread or smoked meat or similar things. And then, of course, or honey, even honey. I never purchase honey in a supermarket. I always buy it from people that I trust, because I know how you can produce fake honey and how you can get the real honey. So I don't trust that honey in supermarkets. I'm not saying that it's fake, but I don't buy it there. So it's the same things with the other things that I mentioned. And with these home deliveries and internet accessibility, you can order it from anywhere in a country, from the small producer where the quality is guaranteed and the best ingredients and so on. But there is also additional, so this is for the food which can last longer. But if you talk about the food which is just for immediate intake, something that cannot stay longer than a couple of hours, days, I don't know, I think the different concept will become the trend in the future. And I'm talking about actually kitchens which are designed in a way the same as the kitchen in a restaurant, where they have all the techniques and all the elements they need in order to produce a good food, but they don't have the restaurant area. And they are having a different concept. They are working for the companies where they are actually delivering the food for the people that are working in the company. So they're preparing, I don't know how many lunches, dinner, whatsoever. Then at the same time, they are installing the fridges in a gyms. So they always have the fresh food in gyms. You can buy it directly in the gym, which is again a fresh food, or you can just order it online from them and they are delivering to your home address. So why I see this concept as an interesting one, because it's the same way as a restaurant. So you're cooking a food, you're preparing a food, but you don't have this front area, of course, which has pros and cons. If you do not have it, then you have a costs of the location, of the room, of the waiters, of the electricity, everything that goes over there. But you just and you have to pay that if you have a restaurant, even if there are no guests, right? So over here it's a different concept, and I believe that it will this concept will have a secure future, so to say. Yes.
I like this idea with vending machines, actually, where the kitchen is preparing the food, putting it into the vending machine, and for example in gym, as you mentioned, and you just put some coins and you get your food out of that. This is, I think, something which will be more common well in the future, because it's related to the self-service that we discussed a couple of minutes ago. It's actually a perfect combination between self-service and wish to live more healthy and wish to have something fast on spot where I am just in that moment without having enough time to go to the restaurant and order something, or even convenience store. So I agree with your point. Absolutely. This will definitely influence the retailing as well. Okay, let's go to the next point. My favorite, as all of them, multi-channel or omni-channel retailing. Every year, as long as I am in the retail industry, we are talking about multi-channel, about omni-channel. The retailers are talking about, let's say, the channels and experiences over different channels, that they should be, let's say, same for the consumers. So if you are buying, for example, online, you should have the same prices, same experiences, and so on, like if you are buying in the store. Certainly true and very important. Nevertheless, I think that some points will be heavily changed very soon, next year probably as well. And there are 2 points which I'm expecting that there will be totally new things. One are the channels. There will be new channels. And one of those new channels we will discuss today very shortly, very briefly. And another point is something else. It's a starting point of the channels. Because as of today, the retailers are mostly focused, let's say, on the sales channel itself. So it means online, store, mobile, and so on. But they are not really touching the points where the sales process is starting, because they are not able to do that. In this case, you see that people are informing themselves on the search engines mostly about the products that they want to buy. But retailers cannot influence that much unless they are paying a lot, of course, the behavior of the consumer during his running his session on the search engine, or maybe on the Amazon, or maybe in some kind of I don't know, online social media network or whatever. So this means the retailers don't have influence on the complete multi-channel. And now remember the situation and the idea about the AI environment, where the shopping tool for Microsoft is collecting the reviews, product reviews, presenting you the summarized review, where the AI is collecting all the data about different products, giving you the guides, buying guides. Guys, this is nothing else than the starting point of the customer journey. So this means with those AI tools, which are just popping up, the retailers will have the influence on the starting point of the purchasing decision. And this is huge. This is something totally different. So this means the omni-channel strategies will go step behind the existing multi-channel strategies, will extend the existing channels, let's say, with the new starting points, and the retailer will be able to run totally more effective, let's say, the multi-channel strategies. If we are talking about the channel, I mentioned you that there are new channels which are popping up. And one of those channels I want to discuss very shortly, and we are expecting that that channel will be the big thing. It is already actually. I'm talking about gaming. Gaming is totally new sales channel for the retailers, and retailers are now slowly realizing that and investing heavily in that channel to generate, of course, turnover. Let's take just a small example of Roblox. Let's take this game and this platform as an example and analyze it very shortly, very little. You should know that Roblox has 200 active users, 200 million, sorry, 200 millions active users per month. Now remember the 3 factors for the success of the retailers: location, location, location. And suddenly you have location with 200 million of people running around on one place. By the way, those people are coming from 108 different countries. So this means it's a really global environment with lots of users. I agree that those users are, from demographical point of view, very young. This is generation alpha, of course. But generation alpha is actually consumer of more of tomorrow. I just wanted to say in German, morgen, of tomorrow. So these guys will be the people which are buying tomorrow the goods. And now remember that I told you that Gen Alpha is not watching TV anymore. They inform themselves about brands and about the retailers over the social networks. Roblox is nothing else than new social network for those young generation which is just coming. So either retailer will be there and inform the people about own existence and products or not. But not only that, on Roblox, there are, for example, in the last 12 months, and now sit down and hold something very tight, there were around 2 billion paid transactions. Can you imagine? 2 billion paid transactions on within 12 months on one platform. there is real money which is generated, although those users are quite young, but there is a huge money. And now let me give you a very short overview about one of the retailers, just one number, which will show you the success of the retailer. I'm talking about Walmart. Walmart invested in robots. They published so-called experience, let's say, gaming experience over there. They call it Walmart Land. And they generated between October 8th and 10th, so in a couple of days, per day, 460,000 users, daily users. Can you imagine the store, actually, virtual store, which has 461,000 visitors on one day? Huge numbers. So I'm expecting a huge change in that area. This is, let's say, something which is creating totally new channels, but there are other new channels as well which are just popping now. Let's talk very shortly about augmented reality. Augmented reality is, of course, as well a new channel for the retailers. And retailers like IKEA, like Home Depot or Target, they're already introducing AR-based systems to generate more sales. If we talk about post-software vendors, companies like Shopify already implemented solutions, very easy to use for everyone. So this means me, a private person or a small company, if I want to use the AR, which means augmented reality tools, I can easily do that. I don't need to be a big company like IKEA, so even small companies can do that. And I can generate sales by using augmented reality systems very easily. And Shopify analyzed that if you are using AR-based content, the conversation rate is 94% higher than if you are not using it, the traditional e-commerce. I love that. So this means the channels are totally changed now, and the starting point of the channels is changing as well. Milan, I'm impressed by all those numbers.
Yes, I am impressed by those numbers. I knew some of them, not all, but yes, definitely I agree with you. The new channels that you are mentioning, they are definitely going to play a significant role in the future. And I have nothing special to add to it, something extra or new or different from what you mentioned. I would just mention Sephora as one of the good examples by using the different channels. So they are having the great brick and mortar customer experience, where they are having beauty tips, informed salesperson which can advise you about different things, free makeovers, and then of course product to try. So it's basically something that they are offering to the brick and mortar stores. But then they designed the app which actually helps you to analyze your purchase. Then you can go in the store and scan the item that you want to buy, see the tutorial about it, keep a wish list, and much more. So combining these two, the Sephora managed to increase 100% in a mobile sales. So this is just an example how different channels are important and how they have to mix properly.
I like Sephora, and I was present in one, let's say, testing environment where they tried to test on me. So, eyeliners and all those things.
But I think
working so good.
Was it together in New York in that shopping mall?
Yes.
Which they explained us everything? Yes, I remember that. All right.
Exactly. I was impressed because this technology is enabling you to test all those things, even if you are not really testing them. So I love that. So it's really, really interesting topic. Let's move to the last trend, let's say, and then we will discuss the technologies which we don't see as a trend. The last one is related to the e-commerce. And there I want to show you one short chart, let's say, showing what will be the development of e-commerce. E-commerce is already commodity. Everybody knows about it. It's a mature technology, but nevertheless, the importance of e-commerce is growing. This is the blue line. So you see how big is the importance of e-commerce and that it's growing and growing and growing. On the other side, if you see the sales amount, which is, let's say, in e-commerce, you see how it's growing and you see the prediction that it will grow even more. So I think the e-commerce is not at the end. I think the online shops will still coexist with the new stores based on AI, but it will definitely have to rethink, let's say, a little bit how it's organized and how it's managed to run such a stores. But I see the trend continuing more, let's call it like that, in the area of e-commerce. What about you, Milan?
Yeah, e-commerce is definitely interesting, and it's a part of our life. I mean, complete lifestyle is changing. We are working from home. We are socializing from home. Kids are playing with the other kids from home. You are ordering food from home. So I mean, everything goes into that direction that you are going to handle the e-commerce from the home. So I think it's going to continue to grow definitely. And with this influence of the AI, it's going to become more and more important for everyday lives of all of us. And it's also changing the landscape of the regular retailers. I mean, I have a very good example from just a couple of days ago. My mother it was time to replace the oven, and then the holidays are coming, and she's still used to prepare everything by herself and so on. So it was a huge drama because the old one got broken and she had to replace it. And then she ordered it from one of the major players in the Serbian appliance e-commerce industry, and they promised they will deliver it in the week, and that did not happen. And then she called a couple of times in a couple of days, and they said, "Oh, we have a problem with the suppliers," and so on. And then she started panic, and then she called me to see if I can somehow influence that. And of course, what I did, I tried to get it at some other retailers, and then I called a couple of them, and then they all told me the same thing. So they are working with the suppliers, and they have a problem with the suppliers, and this is they are ordering from the suppliers, and once it's ready at the supplier, then they will deliver it, which means that they are already changing the stock strategy. They are not keeping it any longer. It's at the supplier place. They are just a marketplace. You order it there. They are ordering from the supplier, and then they deliver it. So I try to solve this problem by going to some of the other, which are still playing traditionally, which are having some items on the stock. And then I try to order one of these items to the stock, but then the other problems pop up. They are not doing the delivery. Delivery is extra charge. They are not doing door to door. They are leaving it in front of the building, and so on and so on. And also the same thing. They are still cannot keep up with such a stock, because if they are still continue to work and keep the stock, it means that their costs of the equipment will rise, and they will not be able to compete with the other players which are having no stock and then just ordering from suppliers. So e-commerce is definitely changing some of the traditional retailers already, and it's going to change them even more in the future. Everybody will have to align with it. Maybe to have brick and mortar plus e-commerce. In some cases, this will be the perfect solution. In some ways, we can already see that it goes into e-commerce only.
Very good points. Very good points. We didn't talk about the concepts like from factory to consumer, which is even additional dimension of the e-commerce, making it even more complex in the complete environment of e-commerce. So there is a lot of space, let's say, to grow. And I'm sure that many different concepts will emerge, let's say, and the existing will be optimized. So let's see what will happen the next year. So far, so good. So we discussed 10 most important trends that we see, let's say, coming next year and that are influencing our own roadmap and development. Let's discuss just 4 of trends, or let's say topics, which we don't see as a trend and which we would like to explain why we don't see them as a trend. Let's start with Web3. I like Web3. Web3 is actually related, or many people think that Web3 is a new way of, or new technology, a new platform, new internet, which is decentralized and which is, let's say, where you own your own data and so on. It's a great idea and great philosophy, but I don't see this technology and this environment as a trend for the next year based on 2 points. First point, it has a very negative image still, unfortunately. So it's still related, or people are thinking immediately about cryptocurrencies and immediately about negative and even criminal things. Based on that, the first and big, let's say, improvement which has to happen in the area of Web3 is something like rebranding, let's call it like that. I don't mean changing the name. I mean creating the new brand, the new image of the environment of Web3 itself. Before the image is not changed, the retailers will not risk, let's say, to use the technologies which could have a bad impact on their own image. The second point, why I think that Web3 is not something which is trend in the moment, will be in the moment, is the technology which is, from my point of view, not mature enough. It's not developed enough. It's too complex and it's not secure. So based on the complexity, people cannot use it that easily. And based on the security, people can lose the assets very easily. So these 2 points, image and technology, are major problems and hurdles. It's very expensive in total. That's true as well. And this is a very big point, true. So based on that, I don't see the usage in retail soon. What do you think, Milan, about it?
This comment, when you say soon, I agree with you. I think it definitely find its way in the retail industry. I'm not sure in which form and what form, but definitely it has to do. It has a lot of good points. I mean, in everything that NFTs and Web3 are bringing. But as you mentioned, this technology in general has to evolve even more in order to be widely used. I just read an article about interesting concept, but of course I found a couple of small glitches. But they are actually it's a solution for a problem that really exists. So it's a problem with the plane tickets, because if you buy a plane ticket and then you have it, and for some reason you have to cancel your flight. In most of the cases, you're losing all your money, and or you can refund just a percentage of it, which nobody does, and then these seats are remaining free, right? Because traveling company is not able to resell it further. You're not able to resell it further, and then this becomes the problem. So this company is actually trying to create NFT plane tickets as NFTs, which will enable trade on a third market. And then it means that if I have to cancel my flight, then I can sell my NFT ticket to Darko, and then Darko can use it, and then it's good for me and it's good for Darko. But then thinking about this concept, it might become problematic unless if they shape it somehow. First thing is security, of course, with traveling and flying, this is a big thing. And then second thing that I thought of was people that are following basketball will maybe understand me better. So, for example, you have a Final Four in a basketball right now, and we don't know who is going to play in this game, but we know when it's going to happen, and then they publish the tickets, and there are no tickets any longer. So people just purchase it. And then at the end, if I want to go to watch that game, I will have to buy this ticket from the third party, and I will have to pay more. So just imagine someone come in January and purchase all the tickets around the Christmas for all the travels from New York to I don't know where. Of course, they are going to profit at the end because they are going to resell it on the third market, right? And then it's going to lead to the many angry customers because they will have to buy I don't know what price to get there. So there are concepts, people are working around it, but there is still time to pass it before we get something that is really something that we can rely on.
Don't misunderstand me. I love Web3 and I love this concept, and I see lots of very interesting areas to use it. Just recently, Home Depot started using it to write on the blockchain, let's say, the warranty data for the drilling machines perfectly. So it's absolutely perfectly from the security point of view, not to steal the drilling machine and so on. But it's just one case, and in general, the technology is not far enough and very complex, so I don't see it. Let's talk about the second point, and these are so-called virtual influencers. There are lots of them having millions of followers, and everybody or lots of people are telling us, yes, this is the future of marketing, this is future of the retail, so don't use the standard influencers, use the virtual influencer. I don't think that this will be trend and this will develop. Although we have AI and lots of AI-based tools, I think it's still very, very difficult to use them. The marketing departments on the retailer side have to be very technical in order to use those tools. And I think the retail is not far enough, and the technology of those virtual influencers is also still complex and not far enough. As soon as it's becoming easier and better accessible for the people in the marketing, let's say, area, then we can expect some huge changes in the let's say IT environment as well. What do you think? Because you presented virtual influence as well, but not the virtual one.
Right, right. I don't know. I mean, kids are watching everything these days. So basically, I think it will go from the younger population if it goes. When I was younger, the influencers that I watched were Bugs Bunny and Popeye the Sailor, and I learned that carrots and spinach are very healthy. So I don't know. Maybe kids will like to watch this new influencer, and they will find out something else which they become they recognize as a benefit for them. But from my perspective, in my opinion, I would not be. It's not my thing. Yes.
I agree. Let's move to the second last point related to topics that are not the trend, but people are talking about them. Metaverse. Metaverse is very close to the Web3 area, but nevertheless, even if we treat it totally separate, and even if we not treat it as a part of the Web3 environment and idea, metaverse technology is not there enough, still not there. So virtual environment, virtual reality can be used, but it's very complex. And the business concepts, which could be in that environment, like virtual stores, virtual cash registers and post registers to finalize the purchasing, they are still not there. And they are very, very complex on one side, and on the other side, they are not regulated by the law as well. I know that because we as a company presented a concept to the European Union how to regulate from the VAT point of view possible business case retailing in the metaverse. And the governments are just now collecting the information and ideas in order to create something, but it's still not there. As long as there are no, let's say, concepts and no regulations, the retailers are not willing to risks. Some of them may a little bit to experiment a little bit, but actually they will not run huge investments before the investments are secured. So that's why I'm not expecting soon that we will see some metaverse stores and retailers in the metaverse. I mean, many retailers, couple of them are already, of course, doing something. What do you mean, Milan?
In general, in definition of metaverse, creating the new ones just for a specific retailer or something like that, I think we are not so close. But considering what you been talking about Roblox a couple minutes ago, I think that will definitely be the trend, and more retailers will recognize this metaverse as a significant channel for influencing of the young generations. So in that manner, I expect to be a trend for the next year.
I have to add something. So the gaming, I don't see as a metaverse. Although you are right, it is somehow metaverse as well. Of course, there is a social component, there is an economical component, so we can treat it as a metaverse as well. That's where I totally agree with you. And there is a technology already ready, let's say, and the concept as well.
You've been talking about metaverses where I put the VR glasses on and I'm going to the store and socializing with you. Yeah, exactly. I agree with that part. But metaverse in general are many things. So
absolutely. Okay, let's touch the last point. And I was very surprised as I researched some data for the preparation for this session. Robots in retail. A couple of years ago, you could see on every trading show many robots running around doing different stuff in the store, in the back office of the retailer, counting the money, even taking the money out of the cash drawer, bringing the money back into the back office, counting the money and entering data in some kind of, or transmitting the data in some kind of systems, even in that area. And everybody thought a couple of years ago that robots will become very common in the store. Today, to be honest, I see almost no robots in the store. I was a couple of weeks ago in China, and I saw some of them in China, but not serving the retailer as it is, more related to the cleaning, more related to the air conditioning, because they run around and they had something like air freshener and something like that. And it's okay as well, but it's not the area of the retailing as I thought it will be, like management of the shelves and this kind of stuff, or serving the people. In the hospitality area, I saw it maybe again China, where the robots, let's say, bringing the food to the table and making the empty plates, let's say, back to the kitchen. That's what I saw a lot. But everything else I didn't saw. Although, if we remember, even 2017, so a couple of years ago, Amazon employed 45,000 robots. This is already a huge number. So I don't know. I don't see this as a trend in the following years. What do you mean, Milan?
They definitely have their point in or they need in the supply chain area, and we can see that in the terms of I don't know, stocking and packaging in a back door, but in a front part of the retailer store, I don't see them that often, and I don't think they are going to make any significant change. I think they are still too expensive, and the technology is still not on required level. So maybe not next year, but then in the future, definitely.
Let's see, maybe combined with the smart artificial intelligence. Maybe you remember the Sophia, which was a very famous robot, including artificial intelligence brain. Maybe like that, and then some kind of store assistant or something like that. But I don't think it will happen soon. Who knows? Maybe. Now I think Elon Musk is producing robots as well. So maybe soon. Okay, guys. Milan, thank you very much. We discussed all the points that we wanted, 10 trends. Those trends are for sure coming, maybe not next year, but I'm expecting they will come next year, but maybe later, but they will be there for sure. I hope we were able to share our experiences, our vision as a complete picture, let's say, of the retail for 2024. Anyway, I wish you very nice holidays. I'm sure you saw this, our new picture in the corner. You see over there, just for the holidays, just for you. So I wish you Merry Christmas, guys. I wish you Happy New Year, and the next retail talks will happen in January. So I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you, Milan, as well. And thank you very much to all of you. See you soon. Milan, you want maybe a couple of words at the end?
Yes, just thank you for inviting me in this live event. I'm glad that I participate. Thank you very much for all the customers that are watching us live or that are watching us afterwards. And the same thing, I would like to wish you all Merry Christmas and all the best in 2024.
Thank you, Milan. See you all together. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.